Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kaz, and I wanted to do a very short intro before today's video just because, as you all probably know, 10.1 just came out. I haven't done a video in a while, and I just wanted to do one to mess around with the 10.1 changes, although obviously next week will be when we get the whole new slate of dungeons, and I'll be doing a ton of Mythic Plus just to gear up for raid, and we'll be posting videos of the new dungeons. But I ran a few this week just to get used to things and the sort of lull in between the seasons. And I so I ran an Algeth'ar to kind of just show how the spec works right now. It's not too different, but because our talent tree changed, I figured I would do a super quick summary of how the build. I'm not going to go through every talent or even close to it, but as you can see, this is the build I was running in the Algeth'ar, and I've been running for Mythic Plus. This overall oppressing run over us just because it's Raging Week, but you know the points on the left will be kind of similar. Before I've seen some people messing with Ancient Flame. I just took a point off there to fit him in here. But our class tree, or sorry, our spec tree is the one that changed the most. You'll notice immediately that we're no longer, at least right now, the recommended build is to stay away from this bottom left side of the tree, which in the previous patch would have been basically unthinkable. Not to have, feed the flames feed the flames for Mythic Plus really, and that's because this talent's got totally redesigned, and the cooldown reduction we're chasing on our fire breath to get more fire breaths out, extend our dragon's rage, etc. That got shifted into here, causality, which makes so that when you disintegrate, the cooldown remaining on your empower spells, it ticks down. The cooldown lowers each time that disintegrate deals damage, and you'll notice it also works off of pyre, which is actually really fun in AoE, as you'll see in the Algeth'ar. Probably you'll be able to notice it's not a huge rotational change, but it feels a lot sort of quicker and smoother with pyre, since we're not just, we used to reduce the cooldown on our power spells based on essence burst procs and spending them. And now it's just shooting off the pyre, so if you have a ton of essence plus the burst and just firing, 5 pyres in a row, you'll just see the fire breath just tick down and come right back up, and it feels really good in AoE. And and then Scintillation is down here as well. These two we don't play too much around them, but it's, the new recommended build. But aside from causality, which is, I think, arguably the biggest difference, one of the changes I was most excited for is this Arcane Vigor, which makes it so that Shattering Star grants Essence Burst on cast, which is, to me, great. As soon as I played Evoker, I think in the beta, or maybe the first time I just popped Dragon's Rage and started trying to do the rotation that I was reading off wowhead or whatever, I hit Shattering Star and I was like, why does this grant Essence Burst? It feels so clunky. It made me not like the spell the entire season. Basically, I only took it in raid or whenever it was clearly the best. But if I had any sort of choice, if it was pretty close to other stuff like Charge Blast, and when Titanic Wrath used to be over here, I would opt for those over Shattering Star, despite some high-level evokers talking about it was good for power damage, which it certainly was, but I just didn't like it. It was very clunky. It feels a lot better now. You just kind of send it on cooldown. It gives you a guaranteed essence burst, which makes it so that you don't have to feel bad about being low on essence when you send it. You'll always kind of be able to, it creates its own damage window, basically. So yeah, there's a few more nuance here, but I just wanted to show kind of this basic difference, and the playstyle isn't too different from what it used to be. One of the biggest changes is, again, because we're not lowering the cooldown on our Empower spells by consuming an Essence Burst, and I'll just do a quick dummy here, just to show. What happens is, as Disintegrate ticks is what's going to make the cooldown come up on these, and you'll see in a second, which actually means that we no longer almost never have to clip. I'm still learning, much brighter minds than me are figuring out what the optimal rotation is. I'm still learning all the new, sequencing and priority. But as I understand it, we're going to be clipping a lot less, bordering on not at all, except during Dragon's Rage for sort of big priority spells. Like, you will cut short a Disintegrate to, get your Empowers. Once they come off cooldown, you want to send them right when they come up, and Shattering Star as well. But we're no longer clipping with Azura Strike just to get Essence Burst procs to start casting Disintegrate to do it again, because that's not what reduces the cooldown. What reduces the cooldown is just letting the ticks of Disintegrate go. So, under like the current recommended opener or whatever, you'll see as Disintegrate channels, and I'm just chaining them into each other. I'm not actually, and I'm just spending the Essence Burst as they come up. So you see Disintegrate ticking. Here's the part where I'm not entirely too sure when exactly to cast Burnout, but Disintegrate ticking is what's making both of those empowered come back up. Shattering Star gives us an Essence Burst. And so now so first of all, something to note is that it is very difficult now without Lust. You'll see Fire Breath just came back up, so I was maybe like one global, one spell from extending the Dragon's Rage. It's very hard to do that now, even in Lust, if you don't have pretty good haste with it. I wasn't super hyper focused on getting extension. I was just trying to show the mechanic, and I do have only 30% haste, which is on the low end. It's pretty easy to get a third round of extensions, meaning both empowers the third time with Lust and PI. But just Lust, just PI, at least at my haste levels, I have not found it to be easy. I don't know what the exact breakpoints are. And yeah, so you'll notice maybe in the Algeth'ar, if you see that I'm not clipping as aggressively and only with those priority spells. Don't take what I did in the video as like gospel. Definitely just go look at the wowhead guide. That's really good, very thorough. Preheat stuff always is. But I'm trying to learn it too, sort of alongside you guys. And but the undeniable fact is that clipping is gone, just because, as you can see, when we press Disintegrate, it's not. So here's the Essence Burst. It's not consuming the Essence Burst. That did nothing. It's letting the clips go. So now we're not incentivized to clip it early. And I think most people like this change. It probably depends on how much you enjoyed clipping. I am kind of indifferent. Well, I miss clipping only because it felt I had a lot of agency in hitting that third extension with good play, and it felt sort of aggressive. It kind of like more actions, more inputs, or whatever. But it was a pretty unintuitive and kind of weird playstyle to have a 3-second channel that you cut off after second or second half, whatever it was. So I think it's overall pretty good. I just missed the kind of going for extensions. Now it feels futile, but the spec does flow very well. It feels very fluid, and the damage feels great. And something that does feel nice is, as you'll see in AoE, and you'll see that in the Algeth'ar video, is, and I'll just do this quicker. I'll just kind of send it, but you see these pyres. If you have a lot of Essence Burst decks, these pyres are just firing off. I mean, look how fast the fire burst coming up. And it's when it hits, so there, see, I didn't even cast it. I waited for it to hit, which I'm not saying is the correct thing to do rotation-wise. I just wanted to show you that the cooldown was going down on hit. And so as they land, they're really lowering the soak. Doing it in AoE, and I'm not even doing it particularly fast or like watching the buttons since I'm talking, it is very, very easy to get extensions there. If you get a PI in AoE, you're lusted, you're, all juiced up and just blasting big mobs. I think it's going to be very easy to get those extra extensions, since Pyre, as causality reads, it reduces the cooldown based per enemy struck up to 0.2 seconds. So I guess it's up to 5 enemies is when you're getting the most value out of that reduction. And anything after that, it's just going to be capped at 2 seconds. But it feels like they come up really quickly. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to cover. Not super in depth. I'm still learning the new stuff, but just so you kind of maybe you're aware of what kind of things to look out for in the video, which I tried to do better in the Algeth'ar. It is very similar to what we used to do, but with a little bit of change, a little nuance, and it feels like the spec's going to flow really well and play well into 10.1, which I'm super excited for because I'm kind of a little burnt out on all these season 1 dungeons. So I know I haven't been really posting much, but I intend to resume posting with the new set of 8 dungeons and push rating and hopefully start getting better at those keys to help anyone out that might need some tips or cooldown timings or whatever. Thanks.
Dance, dance.
Five, 4,
Dodge. 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 Dodge.
5, 4, 3,
Drop. Beam. Beam. Knock. Drop. Dance. Knock.
Five.
Knock.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Knock. 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 Stopcast. Dodge. Stopcast. Dodge. Stopcast. Dodge. Stopcast. Stopcast. Dodge.
Five, 4, 5, 4,
Ads. Add. Enter. Ads. AOE. Ads. Add. Avoid. Dodge. Avoid. Dodge. Avoid. Dodge. Avoid. Dodge. Avoid.